Welcome to another episode of Hard Revelation Confessions. Today's topic is called Be Productive or Get Left Behind. Throughout my life, I travel all around the world and I see how stuff used to be, and now I see how stuff is changing. So, some of us like to stay in the past. We don't like change, but we can't stop it because change is going to come anyway, whether if we live or if we die. Because I see now how these black communities, they're getting integrated by other race of people, you know what I'm saying? And it basically destroying, the historic value of all these, black neighborhoods like West End, Auburn Avenue, um, you know, Five Points. It just isn't the same anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, like, in this world, you have to be productive. If you're not productive doing something, you're going to get pushed out. Because how this world is set now, you know, you got to be productive. You have to do something with your life so you can progress. You know what I'm saying? And basically, it's just so many people like out here, you know, they're homeless, they have low self esteem, they don't believe in themselves because so many years, they have been broke down, you know what I'm saying? Because it all could started when they were like little kids. And some of these parents out here, they don't know how to communicate with their children, so they break them down. They say bad things about them. And like I say, if you don't believe in yourself, you will believe in that lie because there's power in the word. There's power in the tongue. So basically, you have to wake up and you got to see what is going on around you. Some of us like to be in entertainment, stuck in entertainment, watching all these celebrities' life. These famous people, they don't care about us. You know, they never give back to the community. You know, if it wasn't for us, you know, they will they will still progress anyway because the money that we giving them, it just chump change. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these famous people, they sell their soul. They sell their soul to come up. That's why they don't really care about the people. And when they make all that money blind them of making right decisions. It makes them greedy. It makes them selfish. That's why, you know, so many famous people, they get in scandals, they get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because like with God, bless you, it's your duty to reach, to teach people, what I'm saying? To open doors for people. Don't think about yourself out here, and a long time ago, you know, back in slavery, you know, The white people spoke curses on black people, saying that we was ignorant, saying that we was, less than human. So by us not believing in ourselves, by us just being ignorant, by us self-hating ourselves, we give into that stereotype. We have to stop fighting each other. We have to start lifting each other up because like time is going fast. We have to wake up. We have to pay attention because time waits for nobody out here. You know, we have to like just let go of the past because the past is not doing us any good. We can daydream, you know, think about the past and how the past was good, but if you're not learning from your past, you can't build a better future for you and your family. So when I'm telling you all, you know, to wake up, pay attention, follow your heart, follow your intuition, don't give into this world, you know, start reading, stop, depend on preachers and other people to give you wisdom. Knowledge is free, you know, and like I was saying, it's nothing wrong with going to church. But if you look at a man of God, you know, the man of God, he's supposed to elevate, he's supposed to evolve because God is eternal. God sees what's going on this earth. God loves his people. Some of these people that we look up to, they just brainwash us. You know, they tell us anything and we look up to them for wisdom. But we have to stop depending on people. We have to start following our heart, follow our intuition. We have to get in touch with God. You know, God is everywhere. God is not only in the church, he is everywhere, you know. God can speak to you different ways. He can speak to you in a dream, he can speak to you through a person, and like I was saying, like God is eternal, you know, God is over everything, you know, and if you have a relationship with God, God will give you wisdom. He will give you strength. He will tell you what is going on. And he will show you who's your friends, who's your enemies. You know, and not only God, he won't just tell you about other people's lives. He'll also tell you about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because like God, he's not really concerned about the people around you. You know, you call on God, you know, God is gonna look within you. And everybody in this world has a flaw. Everybody's not perfect. You know, God wants us to be motivated to do the right thing and stay positive, and come out the past. You know what I'm saying? Because it is a change coming. It is a change coming and stuff. And like I was saying too, you know, many people have fought and died so we can have freedom. And we're not doing anything to better our lives. We just stay in a bad, low frequency. You know what I'm saying? And I don't matter, like, we have problems. All of us have problems out here and stuff. How can we, march or have a problem with a white cop beating up a black man or a black woman when we do the same thing to each other? See, God is a just God. He's a God of the just and also the unjust as well. You know, if we want change, if we want justice, we must, purify ourselves, clean ourselves from sin so we can get that deliverance, so we can get that peace. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, how we walking, some of us are walking in a low frequency. We're going backwards. We're going right back to the past. You know what I'm saying? We're going back to the time of segregation, you know, because like, these white people, they coming in these black neighborhoods and they basically integrating these black neighborhoods. They pushing black people out left and right. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be productive and we have to do what we're supposed to do. We have to work hard. We have to, stay out the jails. We have to raise our kids because like jail is no place for none of us. Nobody want to go to jail because if you go to jail, it messed up your credibility of your freedom and of your rights as well. When we get out of jail, it's hard to get a job. Since it's hard to get a job, we get frustrated, and we get it and we start doing illegal activities that can send us back to jail. And like I was saying too, you know, just, no matter where you come from, you know, reach out to God, reach out to God, you know what I'm saying? Because, even though your mother and your father is not good people, you know, they tearing you down, they verbal abuse you, you know what I'm saying? Call out to God so God can take you out that situation, and the reason, why I'm positive and I'm where I'm at in life is because, God had his hands of protection around me. Even though the environment where I came from wasn't so great, God, he sent strangers to me. Even though I was in sin, even though I was lost, I still wanted to serve God. And God, you know, sent people to me when I was in the world to, you know, bring the gospel to me, help me get born again, you know, and I appreciate all that God has done for me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you just have to just stay positive. Don't be, you know, who they want you to be. You know, don't be negative. You know, just stay positive.